All right, Erica Lorraine Spencer here. It is Thursday, April 15, 2021. It's currently 9:11 a.m. And I did, I want to be clear about the trail of documentation. Now, this is ongoing. It's nothing new. The state, specifically what I'm speaking of, the state using the television inside of the room at Economy Inn or inside of any space where I'm at. A television is first a communication device. Second, it is a means of creating activity. The state engages in using inanimate objects, appliances, the objects inside of the space literally creating noise through amplified hitting, banging, anything, including the use of the television, which the state is engaged in. I have already documented this. This is just documenting what is ongoing criminal conduct, and I want to know what is additional evidence about what the state is engaged in inside of this room at Economy Inn. And this is pursuant to the television. Again, I've specified in my YouTube video where I published the video showing the state flying directly over my room and using that video to engage in additional note-taking, as the state is always engaged in stalking by planes and helicopters, as my documentation already establishes. Third-party group stalkers engaged in ceaseless monitoring with that state that is stalking. The people of the state of California are stalking on behalf of that entity in concert with it as I remain at this venue. And activity creation inside of my room is ongoing for purposes of monitoring with communication devices. And as I documented in that video, which is already published, and I included in my a video that I also showed in, that I also created a video as well as including notes in a already published video on YouTube, and it is about the activity creation. This is a television which is operated by, it's a Spectrum TV television, so I guess Spectrum is the provider of the cable internet service. I want to be clear, the documentation as I captured it, this, again, nothing new, but this is ongoing control of the operation of this television, it having gone on and off. And again, the television is remaining powered on. It's not being powered off. The television itself stops working. So it is inoperable in that regard, creating audible activity, creating light activity, and it also creating that activity with simultaneity to what I'm doing on my phone. So as I am engaged in a change in activity on the internet, after I upload a video, for example, then I stop uploading videos, the television begins running again. Or, for example, as the state is always engaged in monitoring on the internet, so the internet is substantially slowed down, functions are not accessible where the state is engaged in monitoring on my phone, and the people of the state, they're all monitoring. And so this is just what I have engaged in, an ability to maneuver around regardless of the criminal monitoring that I'm subject to. And as I, for example, if my phone screen freezes, when it stops freezing and I go to a different screen, the television will stop operating, or it will start operating. They're creating activity. That is the state that's controlling the television, and that is what is stalking with activity, creating light activity. And this is also that which occurs also while I am asleep. I have documented that as well at similar venues such as Woodside Senior Apartments, Mayfair Inn, using the television as a means of stalking with activity. It is also a means of harassment. Again, the entity that is monitoring is also monitoring the documentation, and so they engage in and understand this follows. You're going to continue monitoring because that's the criminal conduct that you're engaged in. But for purposes of federal prosecution, you are prosecuted for ongoing criminal conduct, and your persistent in engaging in that criminal P.O.C. with knowledge of that documentation is both the criminal pattern of conduct for monitoring with communication devices. It is also reasonably construed as a threat, a very potent and serious threat, a credible threat posed to the life of that target individual that is aware that they are being monitored and knows exactly what is occurring while inanimate objects around them are operating outside of your actions. You're not touching the remote. You're not turning the swamp cooler on and off. Right? You're engaging in the literal observation of these objects around you that are otherwise being controlled. And that is a behavior, a pattern, right? This is something that is occurring everywhere that you go for purposes of monitoring. That's a communication of a threat, all right? And that is also harassment. And so Spectrum Television, understand, this is the 16th time, and I want to, the specific method whereby the television is being used I want to be specific. I'm watching Nick at Night. The method that Spectrum is using to create activity, meaning stopping the television and starting the television, is what is a prompt requiring a pen. And I am not touching the remote in doing so. And I also captured a video when I actually did use the remote to try to turn on the guide. The guide is where you turn on what is the menu of channels, so you can select a different channel, read what channels or what programs are on or whatever, and change your channel. I am not even able to operate. The state is engaging in stifling my ability to operate it and is engaged in usurping control, literally turning it on and off, and doing so through the creation of what is a prompt on the screen requiring a pin, as though Nick at Night, the Nickelodeon channel, this is cartoons, this is family television. This is also that which I did not set any parental block on that requiring any pin. And I also want to be clear, when there is a block, a parental block, parental control, which is what will require a pin, understand that this is not the way that it operates. This is the ongoing remote control. And I don't mean the actual remote control that you change the channel with. This is remote, from a remote location, controlling the operation of this television. That's how I'm using that word remote. It is being remotely controlled. And through the method of this prompt for a PIN code pursuant to what is the parental controls. And I want to be clear, the actual function of this, and this is how you know that it is being remotely controlled, and it is merely a means of creating audible activity, besides the fact that it is mirroring what I'm doing in the room. And also what is also indicative of the same state's pattern of conduct as I document a certain criminal act, the weird conduct that the state engages in. As I document it, the state's pattern is to do it even more so. All right, so where my original observations are, I notice it a few times, and then after a few times not saying anything about it, then I document it. The state that's monitoring me listens to me document it, and then once I document it out loud such that it is now aware that I am documenting it as the criminal pattern of conduct, because it is, once I acknowledge it, the state engages in a pattern of doing it even more so. And that is also indicative of the state engaging in that ongoing use of this television. And this is through the sheer numerosity. This is over 16 times now using this prompt for a PIN code. Besides that, which is within that pattern of conduct, that behavioral pattern, that's the psychopath that's monitoring and then engages in that criminal conduct as though it is supposed to be a suggestion that it's always happening, which that does not. In the same way, you can stalk with a fake sun day in and day out. It is in no way suggesting that that is actually the sun at all, ever. Okay? So anyway, with regard to the operation of the television, a parental code, if there is actually a parental code, first of all, I did not set any codes on this television. Second of all, this is a family channel. This is Nick at Night, which I actually watch all the time because I have several episodes that I watch, and I literally keep it on this channel for prolonged times during the day and overnight. And thirdly, and most pertinent, if the channel was indeed blocked with a parental block, it's not going to come on and off, permitting access. When the channel is blocked, such as there is an adult channel, I believe like a pornography channel, like a sex adult channel, it is blocked. It does not provide access to that channel and then block it, and then provide access and then block it, and then provide access and then block it. In addition to it being available substantial amounts of time, and then suddenly engage in a pattern of repeatedly blocking it for a series, such as it is going on overnight. Since 1:04 in the morning is when I specifically documented it until now. And again, it's 9:20 a.m. and that is over 16 times using this prompt. And again, that prompt for a PIN is nothing but a method for controlling the television. The point of that is to stop and start audible activity, to create light activity. When you turn the television, when you blacken the screen, it's going from light to dark. It's going from dark to light. That's creating light activity. That's the purpose of it. You could do it through a general just blackening of the screen. You could do it with a pop-up on the screen. You could do it with the prompt for a PIN code, which does not apply. I'm pointing out the common sense for how you understand and recognize the fact that the state is using it, and this is Spectrum, all right? Operating control over this television. This is constructive presence in a private space pursuant to corporate invasion of privacy, literally mirroring my movement. When I describe it as something analogous to a motion detector, that's exactly what I mean. I changed my line of vision from my phone looking up to the television, and the television is engaged in using creation of audible activity. The television will stop operating pursuant to that ongoing pattern, stalking with activity using the television. And I just want to be clear that for all of the aforesaid examples and reasons, this is not the actual requirement for a prompt. This is control of the television. This is Spectrum. Spectrum is specifically documented. Understand Spectrum is nothing but a third party. Spectrum engaging in this method of pattern of conduct inside of its private space. Spectrum specifically engaging in the pattern of conduct also in their vehicles. For example, at Country Village Apartments in Harupa Valley, loitering in that community with its Spectrum vehicle, creating prolonged light activity, which I observed as I was under the state's fake sun that was over that property, subject to monitoring, and a Spectrum vehicle was in that community, engaged in the P.O.C, monitoring with the state. All right. In that regard, in that manner, Spectrum engages in the pattern of conduct as well, literally engaging in relevant positioning, light activity creation. They are engaging in activity creation using their at what they have at their disposal, communication devices, which they provide televisions or internet service to inside of what are private spaces, using them to monitor. All right. And this is the method that is being used. And so it is 9:22 a.m. and I want to speak to what is the ongoing documentation, the significance of the pictures that I took. And so every picture that I'm taking, you're going to see what is one, for example, with the picture of what is a black screen, and you'll see the prompt. And that is the prompt that's requiring a pen into in order to resume television, which I don't, that's P.O.C. And I also take a picture at the moment where the television screen comes back on. I have not changed the channel or anything all night long since 10, not even 10 o'clock, since about 9:15 p.m. And I could literally run down what I was watching. I was watching Friends, and then Friends turned into the television show Mom. I'm being specific because it's relevant for what exactly the state is engaged in, and I can literally break it down because I know exactly what I'm doing. And if it was actually a blocked channel, it would not be available at all. It does not engage in what is making it available as you hear it in the background, and then blocking it and then making it available. And in addition, like I said, it is doing so pursuant to that same pattern of stalking me, meaning following me, mirroring my movement, my activity, both physically and on the internet and on my phone. In addition to the fact that the state is stalking by plane and helicopter, acting in concert with this activity creation in my room. So the government is monitoring me, irrespective of any legally irrelevant claim that Spectrum or the third parties at Economy N may claim. Let's be clear, the government is monitoring, and that is within the P.O.C. that is facilitating that criminal act, which is a threat to the life. The targeted individual's ability to document it is what secures prosecution of any third party in relevant position, or for example, on the venue of the internet, engaging in any criminal act of obstruction of justice, and also in this manner inside of a private space where you are observing the ways in which you're being monitored and how that entity does so. And this, understand, this is that constructive presence of the government inside of your home, engaged in what is a satanic system, first of all. So it's very creepy the way the government monitors, the methods that it employs, and does so corporately as a group. The people of the state of California engage in that same behavioral pattern in every single way the government is threatening, because it is literally a psychopath that is monitoring you, that is stalking you, and that is doing so with every move that you make, okay, and using everything around you to do it, and using every single person around you to do it. That is an unprecedented level of a threat. That is also an unprecedented level of harassment, and that is the P.O.C. for criminal monitoring with communication devices as well. It is, again, Thursday, April 15, 2021. It's currently 9:25 a.m., and I just want to document that this is going toward third-party Spectrum, and I want to make sure I specify, because that's what I took pictures of, and this is directly relevant to that, and providing analysis as to what it is, why I took that picture, when I took it, and how that is engagement in the criminal elements, which are always present, and how it is pursuant to that behavioral pattern, revealing what is within the state's pattern of conduct, because there are no coincidences, and that is the P.O.C. So it says code 161-17. What does that mean?
I'm not too sure. I gotta take a look to see if there's at least signal. The box shoots out errors. But it's not communicating correctly to our system. So.
Oh, okay. So it's a matter of this specific TV, not the general service that you provide to the property?
It could be the box or the service.
Oh, okay. It's been shooting a lot of blocks on the screen requiring it prompting a pin, like blocking the channels. It did that about 17, 18 times overnight. And then this evening when I woke up from sleeping, the television was on the whole time, but the moment I woke up, then this pop-up came and the television stopped working.
Okay.
Oh, but I'm saying you don't have any hypothesis?
For...
Any educated guess? It requires you to come and service the television?
Pretty bad box most of the time.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it does have a lot of pop-ups. A lot of disturbance of the service. Hi. Thank you for coming and addressing it.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Remember last time I called you? It was like early in the morning. It didn't do this pop-up, but it's always having issues. So I don't know. Maybe it is a box, but I had the same issue in the other room too.
Just checking it right now. Usually, it's a bad box when I like just send it up there. Oh no, I'm fine.
Is that light activity?
She was asking for a password before, right?
The password?
Yeah, I was asking for a password.
Oh yeah, she was telling me earlier. Yeah, reading.
This is audible activity in relevant position. Light activity as he screws the new box into the wall. The state is directing light as always. The front door is open. That also contributes to audible activity. This is monitoring via spectrum, replacing the box.
Pretty much all the newer TVs are digital.
It's 7:14 p.m.
Automatically. Yeah, so you should be fine. Or if you have like little like the tube TV.
Well, you guys tell us, let us know, right?
Surveillance cameras. Group stalker crosses path by walking past the door. Remember, that creates light activity. The state is directing light inside of my room. That's P.O.C.
Like really interesting you want to do it, and they might be able to escalate it for you. But yeah, I wouldn't be able to do anything on that portion. So.
How come they sent somebody right away?
Huh?
I'm surprised.
This one here, because we have 24-hour support for our position. We're enterprise requirement, so we have someone that's on call.
Crossing path again, walking in the opposite direction past the door is P.O.C. They're monitoring together, so understand how P.O.C. works. They are walking past, creating light activity, engaging in relevant positioning, monitoring via traffic that surrounds, monitoring with the rest of the patrons on the property, and monitoring with these two in my room. They're all monitoring together. It is 7:16 p.m.
No, not yet.
So isn't Spectrum, excuse me, sorry, isn't this like internet powered?
This one, yes. It has actually built-in modem on it. It pulls an IP from our system.
The other one did too. It had an IP number and it pulled up the same.
Yeah,
okay.
so they pulled for
crossing path again.
CNCS.
Talking about the group stalker that will be seen on surveillance camera. She's walking past. That's called patrolling.
So I don't mount it yet until I make sure the box is good. Boom it. Make sure it comes up again. But we do have new boxes too. We do have new boxes. It's we call it world boxes. It's a new box. It loads up a lot faster, but it's a whole different service on that one. You can eventually, if you want
7:17, crossing path again.
Or we can do that. Of course, I'd rather do the fiber. I'd rather do the fiber one.
Crossing path by a vehicle in the parking lot and possible light activity across the ceiling inside of the room. This is P.O.C. It's 7:18 p.m. That's audible activity. That's audible activity. That's the owner using his communication device. So what's going on? Is it frozen?
No, I was looking for an IP. Yeah. I'm just waiting for it to see if it dropped or not. Some of the boxes do, some of them don't. So we carry a few boxes.
Alright, this is P.O.C. and they're just monitoring my phone, monitoring my internet use while they're loitering in relevant position inside the room and patrolling around outside of the room. Amplified audible activity. Just like when the door is closed. It's 7:20 p.m. So what you're seeing on the property outside at Economy Inn, they're monitoring.
Yeah, this one's not picking it in there.
Did you guys have any other issues with boxes in any other rooms?
No.
No, just mine?
And one more room.
Oh, one more room.
It was working over there.
Huh?
It was working over there. I don't know why.
Oh. When did this person call me or call my room?
Oh,
You said someone called my room?
long time.
A long time ago? See, 7:23 p.m. That is what spectrum that I captured on image. The gentleman driving the vehicle. License plate of spectrum that's engaged in P.O.C. 95398C2. I took a picture of what is a third-party group stalker engaging in the same exact conduct. What's the addition? The only difference is that you have a third party, the people of the state acting via spectrum, who are engaging in loitering in relevant position via the form of what is servicing the box inside of the room. This is monitoring in a private space. The state is engaged in the same exact conduct of directing light, amplifying activity, maintaining group presence. The state is always in the airspace. Group stalkers in the parking lot are monitoring, sitting in their cars, standing around the cars, standing outside their doors. License 7MSA495. I'm going to go ahead and read all these license plates. 8DST505, paper plate BJ76R92, license plate 8Y45059. License 7ZWC321, 8EDV437, 6JZE097. African American female with looks like thick dreads. She's got on a black hoodie. It says pray, and she's got on black tights. Monitoring, loitering in relevant position with the other group stalker whose license plate I read. She's getting in her vehicle right now. It is 7:25 p.m. They're monitoring. Understand it's group conduct. The 60 freeway, Euclid Avenue, the property on the opposite side of this brick wall, the third-party group stalkers on the property, they are engaging in ongoing patrolling, light activity creation, amplification of all of their joint conduct, and they are monitoring together, okay? So I want to be clear with regard to the ongoing occurrence of amplified traffic that's serving P.O.C. You have nothing other. The only difference is we've got spectrum directly present engaging in P.O.C. with them, representing the people of the state, using a commercial vehicle under the form of what is servicing the box that is a means of ongoing stalking with activity inside of the room, which is a private space. This is P.O.C. as I'm documenting it. That's the license plate of spectrum acting with the people of the state as the people of the state. They are one group. Understand that ignition is audible activity. They're still loitering in relevant position. And they're also, everything that's on the surveillance cameras is showing what is federal group stalking and monitoring. All right. Like I said before, there is no malfunction of anything that is in the environment of the targeted individual. They are, and understand, while this vehicle, that's a Chevy that's leaving, they're creating light activity and audible activity. So they're not just leaving, that's activity creation, that's relevant positioning. But like I said, in the environment of the target individual, there is no malfunction. The state is controlling the water pressure. The state is controlling the electricity. The state is controlling anything such as cable. Understand that. There is no malfunction. It is P.O.C. And coming into the room to service this box is a means of P.O.C. Spectrum engaged in it. It is currently 7:26 p.m. The paper plate BJ76R92 now leaving as well. That's the same activity creation, audible activity creation, and relevant positioning. And the third party is remaining in direct alignment on the first floor in the parking lot, sitting in their car, as the door to my room remains open. And it is patrolling out. Everything fixed or no?
No, not yet. We're going to test something out.
Oh, okay. So that's crossing path. Third-party group stalker, license 8T17947, drives into the lot. Crossing and path, light activity, spectrum, and the owner walk out of my room. That's crossing path. That's conduct together. Understand that. That's what they're doing. They're monitoring. And they are in the driveway on the cameras. They're loitering under the flickering light at the driveway. This is P.O.C., okay? It is currently 7:27 p.m. This is none other than an invasive and entirely threatening method of monitoring with communication devices. Understand the ordinary targeted individual that is being subject to monitoring by a government. Let me get this third-party license, 8JEZ800. The same African-American people, she's hungry for it. Physically hungry, clearly, but also hungry for it. She's going to get it at federal prosecution. This is nothing other than an invasive method of monitoring an American citizen going into that private space using that which again, the nature of the crime, they're monitoring. So they are also aware of the documentation that you are accumulating for purposes of prosecuting that entity. And I want to be clear, this is an invasive manner, and it is entirely threatening to do so. The entity is prosecuted for that as well. Everything that it does and the ways that it does it, the consistency with which it does it, because it is ceaselessly monitoring, all of this goes to that intensity of federal prosecution. The targeted individual that is especially aware of the fact that they're being monitored, and especially engaging in entering into that private space where there is no form under where the state is engaged in ongoing stalking and maintenance of activity levels. And so coming in under the guise of fixing what is a cable box that has been historically used for purposes of activity creation. It's not a coincidence on the evening that I specifically document Spectrum by adding it as a thumbnail on the list. And I have tons of videos to that in third-party group stalker going inside of room 230, crossing the path. That's a male with a bandana on his face, a hat, a backwards hat, acting with the group stalker in the yellow truck that was acting with Spectrum and the owner, crossing path together, one in cars, the other's walking behind me, sitting in his car. This is an aged white male. And the group stalker in 8JEZ800 engaging in her same post. The psychopath sitting in her car, patrolling in and out of the room underneath me. Very targeted in location, and this is P.O.C. All right, this is the invasive tactic of entering into the private space in order for monitoring. 229, opening and closing the door, just creating activity. And also, this is serving light activity where the state is directing light, okay? It is currently 7:29 p.m. And I want to be clear, like I stated, while I'm sitting on the bed in the room, third-party group stalk on the surveillance cameras will be seen patrolling, walking past the room, then walking back past the room, then walking past the room again. That's patrolling conduct. While they're doing that, the state is amplifying traffic, like I've already established in documentation. The state is directing the light inside of the room, like I've already established in my documentation. I want to be clear, specifically while they're in my room, engaging in this form of fixing a box, which is used to monitor, and it is no way malfunctioning. They can block service all they want. They can create any sort of realistic means of actual malfunction. They can do all they want. It is engagement in the criminal elements, and you will be prosecuted. Where the government is monitoring, those are the inevitable repercussions for engaging in P.O.C. And Spectrum is engaged in P.O.C., engaging in this invasive tactic of so I want to be clear on that. Secondly, like I was stating, while Spectrum is in the room, and I'm putting in air quotes, servicing the cable box, patrolling on the first floor and patrolling on the second floor, okay? And while they're servicing the box, the state is directing bright white light onto the ceiling, okay? Amazon Prime driving east on the 60 freeway, patrolling with the rest of the third parties that are patrolling in the parking lot. This is Amazon Prime repeatedly engaged in that. As a matter of fact, every time a third-party group stalker knocks on my door and I open it, Amazon Prime is specifically engaging in the conduct of visually being seen crossing paths, which is a threat communicated specifically and directly while they are monitoring. All right, that's one of the means whereby an entity acting on behalf of, in concert with the people of the state, engages in that communication, literally by being visually seen, which is a threat, while you are monitoring and you are aware of the fact that that target individual is documenting you. Understand presence is intentional. There is no coincidence. And this is how the people of the state, using their brands, which once readily identified, is reasonably construed as that threat that you are communicating while you are aware of the fact that you're being documented, and irrespective of any legally irrelevant claim, you are engaged in the criminal elements of monitoring. Amazon Prime specifically engaged in that on a repeated basis, and that's what I mean by consistently communicating a threat. That's amplification of a vehicle on Euclid Avenue. Want to be clear, that's amplification, the same conduct at that same level inside of the room, inside of the bathroom, at the sink. This is P.O.C. It is currently 7:32 p.m. All the patrolling and the loitering in their cars, sitting in their cars, is serving P.O.C. The group stalker that is driving the vehicle is patrolling via her children that are repeatedly crossing path, holding a cell phone, all right? So she can have her little minionites patrol underneath me. They're holding communication devices. She's in operation of her communication device sitting in her car. She's maintaining presence. And they're patrolling on the first floor and on the second floor. And that is serving the same criminal purpose. And this is all seen on the surveillance cameras. It is, again, 7:32 p.m. I just wanted to step out. I want to be clear, I'm on the second floor, so as I'm walking, I'm just observing and narrating P.O.C. My shadow is appearing on the license plates of the vehicles. So where I'm standing right here in front of my door, License plate 8EDV437. This is the state directing light. And this is also that which when you pay attention to the surroundings where the government is monitoring you, specifically the light activity, and their shadows are ginormous. They're gigantic shadows on the ground, much like how I captured the third-party group stalkers that are monitoring here at Economy Inn. This is also how you are recognizing what is monitoring conduct. Doing it through minor children, doing it while you are group stalking sitting in your car, doing it while you are in a commercial vehicle, doing it while you are patrolling in and out of the parking lot, doing it while you are in relevant position driving around the same venue. It is all serving the same criminal purpose, and this is the state acting via the third parties, that is the people of the state of California. That is P.O.C. And it's 7:33 p.m. You don't know what's wrong. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
But it gave you a code, though, right? That doesn't inform you of anything?
No, that code doesn't mean anything to us. Yeah, so.
Got it.
605. Okay, so. Okay.
So what does that mean? Oh yeah, this is 227, yeah. So is there some sort of PIN number that I should have? It keeps prompting for a PIN, even though I don't have any parental blocks on the channel.
The only thing that's a PIN would be them in the front if they're trying to restrict any type of channels. But when the box come out from us, there's no PIN.
Yeah, I know. I know I certainly didn't send any parental PIN.
Yeah, no.
So what's it doing now then?
It's trying to lock up. I'm almost done.
Oh, I'm just asking because you said you didn't know, so. So, like, is that a number that I should have? A PIN number?
No.
Oh.
It should be there. It's like this one.
Program not available.
Hey Veronica, this is Johnny. Hey, can you send a couple pictures of box for me, please?
So what does that pop-up mean? Program not available, not authorized, because that would also be another means of blocking TV.
I'm waiting for the box. Yeah, I'm waiting for the box to come up. 1 second here. Okay, it's gonna be Charlie X-ray Sierra.
Oh, I didn't know you were on the phone, sorry.
1340 16817. Yeah, that's from earlier. No, see, you send it a regular refresher. Yeah. Yeah, it should be 10 more, yes. Okay, sounds good. Thank you. This came up. Thank you. Take care, Ryan. All right.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were on the phone. But I was going to say, that pop-up that just came up, the little gray box that program not available, what does that mean?
It means the box is in quarantine.
Are you being funny?
No, I'm serious.
Oh! Oh, I thought that was a joke. What does that mean? It's in quarantine.
So every time when you add equipment or anything, cable box, modems and everything, you can't just plug it into the wall, it'll come up.
Yeah.
So it's stuck in a quarantine mode, so it needs like an activation hit. That's all it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it interrupts service with that pop-up very frequently as well.
So there could be a couple things to that too. So when it loses signal, that comes up. If it's not activated, that comes up. Box being disabled. There's a lot of variables to these.
But as far as spectrum, you guys, what is it? Satellite? Is it internet? What you guys advertise on your basis of being different as you provide TV service? What is it based on? How do you provide service?
So we're doing a hybrid coax fiber service.
Oh, okay.
So essentially, it is a mixture of both sides.
And it is a communication device.
It's the mixture. Yeah, we do have a fiber service too, but we're still waiting to put this stuff.
You're listening to P.O.C. Okay. All right. Got it. That loud vehicle that sounds like it's right in front of my room is on Euclid Avenue. That's amplification, and he's creating light activity in the room. Sparkling light as he screws into the wall. Thank you. So, any more pop-ups or prompts for pins, or is that just something that's going to just coexist with getting service here?
No, I think it should be fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was doing it early when I was changing the channels, but I think it's just because I was waiting for it to be activated. So
Got it.
It should be good to go.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. You too. Have a good one. It is currently 8:09 p.m. And that's P.O.C. what you're listening to. Any and everything that is occurring in relevant position, the state is maintaining that environment conducive to monitoring. Okay, and so what is this? This is P.O.C. While what are the people of the state of California acting via spectrum, which is acting in concert with the people of the state of California, both on the property right economy end and all around economy end, the state is continuously engaging in those same hallmarks: directed light, amplified audible activity, group stalking via planes and helicopters, and group stalking. The state is always present. Group stalking by police, fire, and ambulance. Okay, they are always in relevant position, maintaining perpetual presence conspicuously and or inconspicuously. Just because you do not hear them does not mean that they are there. The behavioral pattern demonstrates that the state maintains presence, and this is why, as I have documented, the state engages in that knee-jerk reaction, creating audible activity via sirens at the drop of a dime. All right? You're talking about using the television in the room as a means of engaging in that same exact conduct. Stalking with audible activity using the television versus stalking with audible activity using a state vehicle, which are sirens, all right? Which is indicative of what is maintenance in the present, because those sirens are amplified. Those sirens are occurring with simultaneity to what I am doing, either physically or on a communication device. Okay, this is stalking with activity. So I want to be clear, those hallmarks remain while you have what is spectrum inside of the room, maintaining relevant positioning. And I want to be clear, the elements are maintained as well. So you have what are patrolling group stalkers that are patrolling in front of the door as I'm speaking to it while it's happening, and while again, that hallmark remains of group stalking and light activity, and the people of the state, which again are not present in an individual capacity. The state is monitoring. The state monitors via the people. That is the government that's walking back and forth in front of your door while directed light is aimed inside of the space where you remain, which is occurring everywhere that you're going, even when you're outside. The state maintains presence in that way. So this group stalker, again, walking back and forth, creating light activity, engaging in that demonic pacing back and forth. doing so by walking back, waits a couple minutes, walks back again. You're engaging in that same conduct. Okay, the psychopath is in no way engaging in anything other than the criminal elements of monitoring. This is the ability to look at the forest from the trees, and that is also requiring getting past this outward form that the government operates under. That it's separate conduct. It's totally separate and distinct because it's a different face. This is what group stalking relies on, in addition to the fact of relying on the specific identity of an individual that is engaged in the criminal elements of monitoring on behalf of a government. You're getting past that false premise as well. It is corporate conduct. It is all related. It is all it is all in concert with and on behalf of the government that is also present. So that's what you're prefacing it on, the state's pattern of conduct. You are present acting on behalf of that public entity. Spectrum is in relevant position, creating audible activity, creating light activity as he's screwing the box into the wall. His little screwdriver creates light as he's doing that. That is the combination of light activity and audible activity. Want to be clear, the state amplifies it. So you've got everything that is creating more impact in this environment as well. Understand, spectrum is monitoring that in and of itself. But let me also, like I've already stated, there is nothing, absolutely nothing in and around the environment of the target individual that is not under the absolute control of the public entity that is monitoring. Okay, this is that which is form for loitering in relevant positioning. In other words, coming into the room and providing service to a cable box, which is malfunctioning. And again, there is no ordinary malfunctioning. This is the box that is used as a means of stalking with activity inside of the room, engaging in that same behavioral pattern of stalking, meaning changing in activity, meaning if the television is on, television suddenly stops working when with simultaneity to what I'm doing, either physically or on a communication device. And this is occurring while the state is stalking by planes and helicopters. This is occurring while group stalkers are maintaining presence all around me at this property. This is in the immediate vicinity. Again, the traffic and the fact that traffic is amplified in volume, the fact that traffic is occurring while the state is directing light, they are all engaged in that same criminal system. So this is documentation, very relevant. This is not merely documenting what is monitoring by Spectrum employee and it's a broken box. You are looking at it under the fact pattern of what is federal group stalking and monitoring by a public entity, which is the state of California, and where a public entity is monitoring. The system is such that the public entity is monitoring in concert with the people of the state. The people of the state is not singularly defined as an individual, which is comprising what is the group of the group, that is the people of the state of California, but it is the guises under which the people of the state of California engage in that same behavioral pattern, using any commercial means, using any company brand, logo, establishment, any means whereby the same exact elements are being maintained in relevant position, in concert with the public entity that is also present in relevant position and monitoring to that facilitating conduct and presence. All right. And Spectrum is also, I'm also going to now get past what are the elements and the hallmarks that remain while this third party that you are hearing in relevant position. This is nothing other than proof of presence by Spectrum, representing the people of the state of California, okay? Treated under federal law no differently than every other third party group stalker, all right? But let me be clear, you also have the common sense aspect. It is not a coincidence, in other words, the fact that I specifically identified Spectrum by name. And let me be clear, I did not have to. I have been documenting the use of a television and a private space for purposes of monitoring with communication devices. A television is a communication device. The television used to maintain the elements where I am, as I have documented inside of the private residence. I put that in air quotes because that residence was not private. It was federal group stalking and monitoring occurring at this community of Woodside Senior Apartments. And they were all monitoring, and I was being monitored inside of that apartment. The television, a communication device, also powered by internet, provided by Frontier, used as a systematic means of monitoring inside of that apartment. This is not new. This is not a new tactic, and this is not new documentation. This is another venue, again, analogous to that of what is a private space, all right? A private space being inside of any private residence, being inside of any, for example, private residence of any private residence belonging to the target individual and or a third party, or, for example, in a hotel room provided by a third party innkeeper. It is the same type of venue where you are maintaining a reasonable expectation of privacy. And again, what is the federal crime under federal group stalking and monitoring? You have no privacy. This is the fundamental basis of that which is inherent to federal group stalking and monitoring. You do not have any privacy. The government, which is surveilling you, which is group stalking you, in concert with the people of the state of California, are engaged in corporate invasion of privacy on a ceaseless basis and are monitoring and doing so. So documenting while you are inside of any private space and the methods whereby they are engaging in those elements of monitoring, because that is all it is. When you establish the pattern of conduct, you are literally going through and through, because the state is monitoring through everyone and through any and everything, and because everything is capable, any and everything is capable of either making any sort of light activity and or audible activity, and while that is the public entity and the people of the state are maintaining presence. And so any way that those elements are being systematically accomplished or met, satisfied, is a means of monitoring. Period. That's not a hypothesis. That's not just a possibility or a probability. This is how the government monitors. And so it is the absence of chance. It is the absence of coincidence. And so I want to be clear, as I specifically identify spectrum today, April 15th, on my podcast, as I've already published it earlier today, it's not a coincidence that spectrum arrives on the property. I've been documenting the interruption of television service specifically at this venue since August of 2020. It is nothing new. The exact same pop-ups, the exact same method. So what did Spectrum do today? A different type of pop-up. And again, as I specifically stated, everything I say is deliberate. All right. And what I don't say is also deliberate. Okay. And what I specifically noted was the fact that I documented that conduct. You want to use pop-ups and all that, I'm going to document it, and I'm going to identify the actor. It is Spectrum. All right. And perfectly capable of interrupting the signal, interrupting the service, and doing so pursuant to that same behavioral pattern with simultaneity to what I'm doing inside of a private space, which is based on that behavior of corporate invasion of privacy, which the government is doing when it's monitoring you. And the government is monitoring. That is why the government is stalking, and the government is stalking. That is already established. What you have is Spectrum arriving based on my communication to the front office that there's some pop-up speaking to what is the prompting of a code and call the cable operator. Understand that that is the same exact P.O.C. It is no different. It is still the engagement in the pattern of conduct. It occurs as and again, based on under the circumstances as well, which you're also going to consider, it occurs as I wake up. Television, fine, while I am sleeping. And then when I wake up at 5 p.m., then after I change a couple channels, then all of a sudden the channel goes out. And understand, the entity that's monitoring knows exactly what I'm documenting. This is a continuous abysmal failure to create what is not only formed for loitering in relevant position. What I have noticed is as I specifically identify an actor engaged in monitoring me, that actor will go out of its way to personally participate in monitoring as opposed to doing it in some remote basis. So as opposed to using the television and using their ability to control the signal and the operation of the television remotely, you have Spectrum coming in and personally engaging in P.O.C. in my room. All right. The same with I documented with another example is Arrowhead Regional Medical Center. Again, I pointed this out when I specifically identified Arrowhead Regional Medical Center engaged in monitoring, engaged in the criminal system, in other words, while I was at Mercy House, third-party group stalker Mercy House, located at 435 South Bonneview in Ontario, California. Okay, the state's fake sun documented early morning for the duration of the day into the evening in direct conflict with where it's remaining right now, where I am at Economy Inn, 2301 South Euclid Avenue. Okay, this is P.O.C. everywhere I'm going. And I want to be clear, the same pattern as I specifically mentioned the name Arrowhead Regional Medical Center, the next day you have, or within a couple days, I believe it was literally like the next day or the day after, Arrowhead Regional Medical Center personally appeared in relevant position on that side street of what I believe is Washington, and engaged in monitoring me personally on that dead-end street in their vehicle under the fake sun, in relevant position, under the directed light environment, under the same presence of the state that is stalking directly over me and over that building at 435 South Bonneview. And this is following my directly mentioning the name proper, Arrowhead Regional Medical Center, even though they're already implicated in the pattern of conduct. And I could have not mentioned it, for the totality of my documentation. They're still going to be prosecuted. It's not like I'm missing it because I don't specifically name you on my podcast for whatever reason I may have for that. Okay, this is someone who is aware of the fact that I'm being monitored. Everything that I say and I do not say is not that it is not noticed or observed or documented. Okay, but I just want to be clear. This is noticing every pattern that this entity, which is a psychopath, all right? This is demonic conduct, which is also criminal, but it's demonic. And so as you specifically identify that actor, they engage in coming in, and it's like they have an incentive to now personally come in and engage in the criminal pattern of conduct with the state and on behalf of the state. Anyway, the personification, it's a demonic personification as the people of the state, whether it is in a particular individual, whether it is a particular business, a company, or a brand that is engaging in whatever provision of services. Understand they're doing it under the state's environment that it is creating while they are in relevant position. It is P.O.C. But there is an entirely demonic personification of the conduct that is demonstrated by not only the state that's operating the system, but as I document the people of the state of California, as they are literally monitoring what is documentation of their criminal conduct, as they are facilitating the public entity's ability to monitor me and every method whereby they are engaging in that criminal system. And federal legislation is such that there is no brand, company, establishment, location, venue, whatever you want to call it. There is no form, in other words, whereby you are in any way avoiding what is the ongoing presence of criminal elements of monitoring, light activity, and relevant positioning. And where those hallmarks remain present, you are engaged in the P.O.C. This is what logically follows, okay? But I want to be clear, in this alternate universe where you have a government that is under the false idea that it is superior to the law and that based on pure numerosity and the literally idiotic, because it doesn't even make sense what third-party group stalkers what comes out of their mouth. It's nothing other than audible activity. But it is based on that false arrogance, this false sense of arrogance based on pure numerosity, because you have everybody uttering the same lie that it is going to be true and that you are going to be outpowered or outnumbered on the basis of that. No, that is not how it works whatsoever. And even if it had worked in that way before, that enters in Erica Lorraine Spencer. This is the breaking down of that entire system. And that is not how the law operates. And that is not how logic works. It is not based on brute force, because you have more people stating it is such as this. And so that's just the way that it's going to be. No, that's not. Okay. It's going to be based on facts. It's going to be based on objective evidence. And you're going to, when you're dealing with that, which is group conduct, you are necessarily looking at and analyzing what are patterns amongst a group. And that is the absence of coincidence. Okay. But this is the breaking down of every false premise that this system relies on. It is entirely demonic and it is entirely criminal, malicious at every turn. Okay. And so I want to be clear. This is relevant documentation. As to Spectrum, this is going directly towards Spectrum. You can look at my documentation that I have since August of 2020, and I'm just narrowing it down to this specific venue where I have been documenting what is the use of the television inside of whatever room I was in. In August of 2020, I was in room 230. Okay, you have the exact same use of the television, the exact same behavioral pattern in use of that television, while the exact same group stalking by the state, group stalking by third parties under what is the fake sun. Okay. Under what is directed light, which is never occurring, even if that was the sun remaining directly over my room for the duration of the day at 2301 South Euclid Avenue. All right. Which that is not the case, because it cannot both coexist directly over the parking lot over my room during the day and then be directly over me at every other location, including outside of this county in Los Angeles County, in Riverside County. All right. That is not the sun. This is already established. And so this is how you are analyzing the malice with which the people of the state of California are monitoring and doing so on behalf of a government whose pattern of conduct is already established, whose criminal system is literally incriminating every single one as I encounter them. And I just write down name after name after name. And that is the communication, the intentional communication of a threat. Not only is what is being documented is their engagement in that criminal system, but that which they are also simultaneously engaged in while you monitor me and you monitor my documentation of you monitoring me. You're also threatening me. You're also harassing me. You are also engaged in that which is going to be collateral to that criminal criminal conduct. So this is an entirely intensified federal prosecution of an unprecedented nature because it's government conduct. Okay, but this is literally just tallying up that and why that intense prosecution is absolutely necessary as a matter of justice. And so anyway, that is after 8 p.m. where the television is quote unquote fixed, okay? It's a means of activity creation. The state maintains absolute control over everything around you. As I have already shown, this is the use of the swamp cooler, as I've documented. That's electricity, okay? The use of the amplification of audible activity as I use anything inside of the room, for example, the water, all right, and then you have the state that's amplifying noise through the wall, right, standing where I'm at. Or if I turn on the shower, the state amplifying activity. Like I said, that is serving the same purpose, okay? Using inanimate objects as well. That's the demonic feature of this system. And the cable box, it is not only is that based on my personal observation, my personal exposure to it, this system, by it is what I mean, this system, there is no anomaly, okay? You do not have what is going to be a risk, what is obsessive stalking and group monitoring, okay? That entity that is engaged at that level of obsession is not going to take a chance, because that's what it is when you're engaged in that level of obsession and consumption with monitoring and being present, which is also personified through the light conduct. You see that light that creeps in, wants to be wherever I'm at, wants to touch all the time, and then you also see that it's not even naturally occurring light. This is the state that's touching with this light, that's aiming this light, that's creeping all around and invading with this light. That's a personification of the stalker. Okay, every single last person in relevant position, and also the entity that's operating it. This entity that is monitoring, and it is not going to take any risk by not exercising control over the things around you in the room. Okay, and honestly, being well familiarized with this demented system, in no way a reflection of me. This is the ability to break down the demented conduct, and then also go on ahead and provide you what is the ability to analyze it legally, but then also assess it as to the that wicked intent behind it, the demented conduct. And when you are aware of it, literally, I've been like sitting in the doctor chair and looking at what is twisted conduct amongst a group of people, and becoming very well aware of what is that intent that they engage in, that they are that they maintain while they're engaged in what is the elements of monitoring, entirely twisted. And that's the ability to discern that wickedness. Okay, so there is a combination of ability to do that. So, and that's just the reality. This is not about me. This is about revealing the truth of what the government is engaged in. I happen to be subject to it. I don't take that as some sort of medal of honor. I didn't choose it, but it's been placed in my lap, and so I'm going to deal with it, and I'm going to deal with it thoroughly, because once it's dealing with me, then now it becomes personal. So I'm not only advocating on behalf of the ordinary target individual that does not have that combination of abilities to discern that demented aspect of what the state is engaged in, okay, that demonic aspect, but also that legal framework, having that affinity for the law to legally assess and break down, and then also form into a policy whereby no other individual can be subject to it. You can prosecute it, regardless of the fact, irregardless is not a word, excuse me, regardless of the fact that it is rooted in Satanism. And that in and of itself is where that false sense of arrogance comes from, not only because it is the government that's doing it, that's operating it, but it's because it's rooted out of hell. And so you have a false sense of arrogance that, oh, this is what ordinary people, you can't see the invisible. And I'm not saying I see the invisible. I'm saying I can discern that wicked influence. I can discern it. And whether you want to accept that or believe that, or it's really irrelevant, it's relevant for purposes of for purposes of punishment. It's relevant there. Okay. But for purposes of prosecuting in a court of law, in that venue that is relying on objective evidence that you can see, that you can hear, that you can feel, all right, that you can look at and analyze, it's not missing in that regard at all. whatsoever, whether you want to accept the fact that it's rooted in hell, because it is. It is satanic. Yes, it is. Every single element engaging in that, and the ways in which the people of the state, the government are doing, they're engaging in demonic conduct in ways that are palatable, in ways that are acceptable in society, but it's serving a criminal purpose. And you need to understand that that is demonic conduct right in front of your face if you understand what you're looking at. And it's under that fact pattern of what is group stalking and monitoring. It is beyond criminal. It is demonic. Okay. And they're doing so in your face in a manner that is otherwise deemed acceptable because you see it every day. So you're not thinking, oh my gosh, this witch on a broom that's flying with smoke all around her has her hazard lights on. Okay, that is not what is going on. That is not the way that it appears, and understand that would defeat the purpose of engaging in an entirely demonic criminal system. That would defeat the purpose. It would not be very effective if you could see it in that, in that sort of manner. That would cause attention. You're talking about public corruption. All right. This is how you would deal with it in the secular and the natural. It's public corruption. It's demonic activity in front of your face. It's hiding in plain sight. All right. So if you really want to break it down, it's my ability to translate what is at its base, at its core, demonic, but what is that which is to be addressed and necessarily so. As a matter of justice, it shall be addressed, and it is required to be addressed under that which no one can refuse, which is treatment under the law. All right, you don't have a right to break the law, and it's my pleasure to provide that ongoing translation of what is that demented conduct that the government engages in concert with the people of the state. And so anyway, again, it is April 15, 2021, and I say all that to say that what you are listening to is no ordinary conduct. Everything that is occurring where the elements of criminal monitoring are ongoing, where those hallmarks that I have already established are being maintained. You're literally listening to them while they are ongoing, while you have what is spectrum inside of my room. And then also you're going to consider the actual circumstances. This is nothing new. My speaking to and documenting the use of the television for purposes of monitoring me inside of what is a private space. Okay. The day that I mentioned spectrum by name, the day I identified the third party group stalker by name, then you've got what is none other than another method of engaging in the exact same thing. Another pop-up that brings up prompting a code and engaging in prolonged denial or of television so that they can loiter in relevant position and come in services, which is not malfunctioning. I'm also pointing out the common sense aspect where the entity is monitoring you. They maintain absolute control over everything around you. And this is also demonstrated through the documentation. Use of inanimate objects to create activity, which I have already established as well. Okay. And this is the same conduct while, by the way, I am kidnapped inside of any state facilitating venue, such as Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, while I'm kidnapped at that court, while I am kidnapped inside of West Valley Detention Center, inside of Central Detention Center, Glen Helen Rehabilitation Center, engaging in the same behavioral pattern. I am merely in what is another type of venue, a private space, and the same hallmarks are maintained. So I cannot emphasize that enough. It is P.O.C. You are getting past what is the specific actor. Now, you're going to get past it insofar as I'm identifying it. That's relevant. Yeah, you need to know how the people of the state of California are engaged in demonic criminal targeting on behalf of the government. You do need to know that. Those companies, they need to be shown for the psychopaths, capitalizing, making money, demonstrating and showing their brand or their company or their purpose as one thing. And this is the reality of what is not unique to me, okay? And it is also not unique to that particular company. This is the criminal system that company is engaged in, and you're engaging in it, you're facilitating it, you are a part of it wholeheartedly. That's not a coincidence, not an accident. It's the truth, the revealing of the true nature of whoever that person is, that group, that company that's engaged in it. Understand the people of the state are the ones operating the company, are the ones providing that service, and are doing so in that environment. The government is monitoring while they are present. It doesn't change because you have a company name that's added to the identity. It does not change. And so this is literally the breaking down of that entire system. And so Like I said, that is Spectrum, and this is going under Spectrum, engaging in monitoring. I read that license plate. I spoke. You literally hear what is ongoing presence. The state is directing light. He's creating activity and light activity inside the room. Spectrum is monitoring, doing it in that way, using their vehicles, have documented that as well, and also monitoring me remotely using their technology, their cable box, whatever, which is connected to the television. These are communication devices in a private space used to monitor in concert with the government that's monitoring. All right. It's P.O.C. And this is informative for purposes of federal policy, where a government is monitoring, and you're going to pay attention to all the ways that you form policy and educate the masses about how that is systematically engaged in, even in your home. When no one is present around you, the target individual can live by themselves. You won't even necessarily have to live with a third party. Understand, third parties don't have to be necessarily in your same home or where you're located. They're in relevant position if you're in an apartment building all around you. They're in relevant position if you live in a neighborhood of houses, single family, multi-family residences. They're on your street all around you in relevant position. And the government is maintaining presence in the airspace. They don't have to be in your home. Ceilings, doors, walls, gates, fences, none of this is an obstacle for purposes of monitoring with communication devices. Okay? And the state is engaged in corporate invasion of privacy. This is the opening up of the eyes to see how you are systematically monitored and the ways in which they do so. And using a television, using that cable service provider is a method of monitoring, okay? And Spectrum irreducibly engaged in that, okay? That is P.O.C. It is 8:36 p.m.